Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast. I am your host, Chuck Manity. And in today's episode, we are going to be going over Jurassic World Rebirth. So that came out quite a while ago, I understand that, but we are finally getting to it, and we're going to go through exactly what happened and our fifis with regards to said movie. So this would be, I think, the 7th Jurassic World sequel, 7 in total, 6th sequel kind of thing, in the whole of the Jurassic World, well, the whole of the Jurassic Park / World franchise. But just my thoughts on it, just real quick. It is a movie that does what it's supposed to do. That's really as simple as it is. I called it in an earlier episode where I said that Jurassic World is going to outdo the dinos, are going to beat Fantastic Four and Superman. And I do believe that I got the order right where I said Jurassic World first place, Superman second, and Fantastic Four fourth. Fantastic Four looked like it was going to have some ground to break, but that fell off a cliff, I think, after week 2 at the box office. Superman seems to be having some legs, although I don't think it's going to beat Jurassic World. And I think Jurassic World won this July battle because of the international market specifically. It did well globally, and the reason why is exactly what I said previously, is that it is straight up a dino movie that did what it was supposed to do. There's dinosaurs in it. It understood the assignment. It was very much just cool. It's a dinosaur movie, and does it have the best story or a story that makes sense all the time? Not really. Is it the best story ever? Not really. But it does what it needs to do, and that's why it won at the box office. It was as simple as that. So that seemed to attract a lot of the international market, and then guess what? Here we go. Jurassic World wins the July box office. But without any further ado, let's get into the review. So it starts off with a 17 years prior, and that it is based at Ile Saint-Hubert, or Herbert, which is an island. This island has a sort of like a research facility for mutant dinosaurs, which I'm going to be calling X-Men dinos moving forward if I ever see one. And this facility gets buggered up by a Snickers wrapper, and I kid you not. A Snickers wrapper gets into the door somehow, and then the whole thing's completely toast. There is a lady who is running out of what I'm going to be calling D-Rex, because that's quite a word to say, so it's just easier. I'm calling him Drex. So Drex is seen ever so briefly, and the lady does not save her friend because she sees D-Rex. She pulls the key out and just leaves him hanging there. Shame. He will be missed. Kidding. We don't even know who he is. Yes, and then it says 32 years, since the dinosaurs came about. It sort of gives you like a sort of how-to guide as to what's happened since the very beginning. I really wish they had done the Star Wars thing, like 32 years ago, and then it slides up the screen where you can kind of see it in a Star Wars vibe. That would be really funny. But yeah, the dinos are at the equator. This is for survival purposes, I believe. They give some reason as to why there's more oxygen or something, but they seem to tend to cluster at the equator. And travel is forbidden, so you're not allowed to go there, and obviously because there's dinosaurs. So ScarJo cutscenes, and then you see ScarJo jump into a car with what I'm going to be calling ScarJo, the whole thing, and then you get Creepy Bad Guy, so that's going to be his name for the rest of the episode. So they're having a chat. Creepy Bad Guy tells her exactly what he wants to do. She says, nah, ain't doing that, and then he offers her a stupid amount of money with lots of zeros, and she says, yes, let's do it. So Creepy Bad Guy introduces ScarJo to Loomis, who I'm going to be calling Bill Nye the Science Guy for the rest of it. Just so you know, he's the nerdy scientist who wasn't aware that he was going to be going to the island, but now he is. So there you go. So Creepy Bad Guy needs 3 samples from 3 of the biggest sea, land and air-based, they say avian, air-based creatures, and this is to stop coronary diseases, because the dinos with the biggest hearts have this magic cure, whatever the case is, but you can't get it when they're dead. You need to get it while they're alive. So that is the trick here, is that you have to get it while they're alive. So that's obviously to make it more exciting to try and get it alive from an alive dinosaur, like a sample of their blood or whatever the case is. So the Mosasaurus is obviously the aquatic one. The Titanosaurus, the big one, that's the land one, and then the flying bird dino are called pterosauruses. So those are the 3 that they need to get it from. So I can't say this name properly. I've always called it Suri name, like Suri name. Hey Suri name. So I think it's Suriname. So they go there. This is now ScarJo and Creepy Bad Guy, and they meet Mahashar Ali, who will now be just known as Ali. So Ali and ScarJo bamboozle Creepy Bad Guy, and then in pops what I'm going to be calling Bobby the Security. So Bobby the Security gets introduced to Creepy Bad Guy, continues with the bamboozle, and gets told by ScarJo and Ali that no, don't worry, we've already bamboozled them, whoopsie daisies. And Ali says, Creepy Bad Guy asks why Bobby the Security is coming with, and he said so he's not going to be eaten by these things, which he shows him a big pair of teeth, or bones of a big pair of teeth. Cut to the boat, where they show Mechanic Guy and Boat Girl. That's what I'm going to be calling them. Boat Girl kind of looks like the girlie from Deadpool. Let me know in the comments below if you agree. I think she looks a bit like her. But yeah, they all go chasing after this mosasaur, which has like a tracking chip from InGen or InGen? Yeah, from those guys, from the main bad corporate guys. So that has a chip in it, which they are en route to track. So they're on the way to get this mosasaur in a boat in the ocean. Not a very big boat, and if you have a look at how big the mosasaurs are, I don't think it was the best plan. That's just my opinion. So we cut to what I'm going to be calling Adventure Family, because they are quite adventurous, and they're not supposed to be in the Forbidden Zone. Not sure if they knew they were there, don't really say, but they were there. And what I'm going to be calling Irresponsible Dad, and for good reason, and I'll tell you exactly why. Irresponsible Dad, Little and Big Sis, and Captain Boyfriend. So I'm calling Captain Boyfriend because he's on a boat and he's the boyfriend. So Irresponsible Dad and Captain Boyfriend are clearly not getting along. Captain Boyfriend seems a bit lazy, one of those sort of annoying types, and that's sort of what they set him up to be. Doesn't really want to help, etc. And if you are a boomer, then you'd be like pro Irresponsible Dad, but if you're probably younger, you'd probably go, nah, Captain Boyfriend's not so bad. You'll see when you get older. Yeah, so they almost get eaten. So their boat gets tipped by a mosasaur, and that leaves them stranded. But the boat's upside down, and they are now on top of the boat after almost getting eaten and drowning and all sorts of fun things. So, cut to Scar Joe team, which I'm going to call Team Scar Joe, are almost at the mosasaur, and they get a call of help from Adventure Family. So they decide to go after the, they decide not to go after the mosasaur because Arlie and Scar Joe are like, no, creepy bad guy wants to go for it, and he said, well, we can always go get them afterwards, and they're like, no, we need to get them now. So they go to help Adventure Family. So Adventure Family and Team Scarjo are all together now on the boat, and they inform that Team Scarjo informs, Adventure Family that they need to go get the sample. Adventure Family doesn't want to go with, but they were left no choice, so they have to go. So all goes good, and immediately then goes bad. So that is because they're trying to get this sample from the mosasaur, and it starts off okay, and then a whole bunch of spinosaurs and the mosasaur, like everything just goes completely terrible. They have to try and make their way to the land because the mosasaurs are so big that they can't swim in shallow water, which is probably the reason why a lot of people haven't been chomped by anything substantial right on the beach. Although I have seen, I don't know if you guys seen the video, which is why I don't swim anywhere past my knees, because I've seen videos of killer whales and sharks jumping onto the beach. Sidebar there, so no thank you. I will be on the sand where it's safe and secure and lovely. Yes, so that's a sidebar there. So they do eventually start making their way, and Bobby the security gets eaten on the side of the boat, and this is from I think a spinosaur. Didn't know those things could swim, by the way. But yeah, and then creepy bad guy with Big Sis sort of almost falling off the side of the boat leaves her to fall off the boat. So after Big Sis falls off the boat, Captain Boyfriend jumps to save her, and Irresponsible Dad and Little Sis jump in and follow them. I don't know if you noticed, Irresponsible Dad, but there's a mosasaur and some Spinosaurus in the water. Yeah, maybe not the best idea to jump in there, but hey, look, Big Sis did it. Captain Brave Boyfriend jumped into the water, so there you go. And yeah, so now they're all in the water. The groups are now separated. So Team Scarjo lands on the beach, and immediately Boat Girl gets eaten. So she gets picked off by a spiny dino, and Team Scarjo and Adventure Family, like I said, are now separated on the island. So Team Scarjo goes ahead with the mission because, dollars, and they have pretty much a day to get the samples and then to get to a helipad, which is where she's told the people if they don't hear from her, they fly around on the helipad. They get to the helipad, well, they don't land on the helipad for obvious reasons, but they'll see if the people are there. If they are, cool, you get 2 minutes, where they circle, and if they don't see anything, they leave. But if they see you, then obviously they rescue you. So, yes. So, like I said, they have a day to get there, so they've obviously got to hurry, get their samples, and etc, etc. So we cut to Irresponsible Dad, and he noticed some pipes, and he reckons that they need to make their way to the village where these pipes would go to. I'm not sure what village he might be speaking of. Don't think anyone lives there, but yeah, the research facility, let's just say that. So Little Sis makes friends with what I'm going to be calling Cute Dino, and Cute Dino and she just makes friends with Cute Dino. So Captain Boyfriend makes his way to the jungle laboratory, to have a bit of a tinkle, and is almost eaten by velociraptors. And he gets saved by flying pterosaur. So lucky him, just in the nick of time. But I thought he was a goner for sure, but turns out no. So Team Scarjo, or what's left of them, are on their way to find the Titanosaurus. Okay, because they got the sample, remember, from the Mosasaur. So they got sample 1, and they see these Titanosauruses, and they get sample 2. These things have the longest tails you have ever seen. It is quite a cool scene, but they really went to the nines on these tails. The biggest tails you've ever seen, for shizness. And anyway, so after they get their little sample, which is in a field, they look up, and lo and behold, there's a big cliff, and they see a bunch of pterosauruses flying around in the mountains. So they say, yay, let's go there. So you cut back to Adventure Family wandering, following pipes, and they get to a river, and just across the river they see a little sort of boathouse, little moat, little thingy, and it's got like a little square, and that is Floaty Boat. So I don't know why they send Big Sis. I mean, you have Captain Boyfriend who will jump in the water for Big Sis, but he won't cross a river to fetch a floaty boat. But anyway, so Big Sis goes to fetch floaty boat and accidentally inflates it, and there's a T-Rex there just next to it, so she's got to keep really quiet, but then the boat inflates. Really cool like shot, by the way. I really quite enjoyed the woo about it, you know. So as the boat inflates, you see the boat full screen to its side, and as it falls down, T-Rex is gone. So I actually thought that was a really well shot scene. T-Rex looks good. Just on that, all the CG actually looks pretty decent. Drex is a bit weird for me, because it's such an odd shape. So it's so as far as the rest of the dinosaurs, I mean, they look good, but Drex, nah, not so much. He looked kind of weird to me, but the rest of them fantastic. T-Rex look real good. So yeah, so Big Sis then goes, well, like I said, goes to fetch floaty boat, etc, etc, and T-Rex obviously now is after them. So they're on the boats at that time, and this is what you'll see a lot of in the trailer, is the T-Rex obviously, you know, gets to them, and I didn't know T-Rexes could swim. So the T-Rex then eventually swims after them, gets to a place where it's not too deep again, and bumps them off the boat. Little girl's under the boat, the three of them get away, and little sis is stuck under the boat. T-Rex almost gets her, bites the boat, and she gets away, and they get through this little gap in the wall, and the T-Rex gets its head through the wall and almost bites them, but doesn't, so they make it. And after the T-Rex, you know, kind of gets bored with them and leaves, floaty boat makes a reappearance. Whoever made that boat, like if that was a real life boat, you got to make boats like that, because that boat was invincible. That boat was invincible. So cut to Team Scarjo, and they have to go on a bit of a rock climbing mission down a cliff face to get to the pterosaur nest. So they are busy chatting about, well, creepy bad guy is asking why are we getting it from the egg? And Bill Nye the Science Guy then informs him that, listen here, we'd rather get it from the egg because pterosaurs are as big as an F-16, which is a big flying thing, big flying jet thing. So that goes as well as you could imagine. And while they're busy they do get the sample from the egg, but they are interrupted by Mommy Pterosaur, and she's not exactly happy. So she tries to eat everyone, and eventually does get one of them. Mechanic guy, who's being pulled up the side of the mountain from the top to try to get away, but just before he makes it, Mommy Pterosaur has a snack. So they've obviously got now sample 3, and they make off to the helipad where they meet up with Adventure Family. So Big Sis has beef with Creepy Bad Guy for good reason, because she wanted, or he just left her to fall off the boat. So she wanted to delete him from Earth because she was not exactly happy. But he has a gun, he takes the samples, and basically as he takes the samples, the generator switches itself on and all the lights come on, and Stand By Me, I'm sure you guys know the song, Stand By Me starts playing. And at that point, Creepy Bad Guy's pretty much on his way, and everyone gets attacked by what I'm going to be calling X-Men Velociraptors, so the mutant Velociraptors. And we get a play-by-play of the kitchen scene from Jurassic Park 1. So obviously Adventure Family's there, and ScarJo's busy running around, and these X-Men Velociraptors are trying to eat all of them. So ScarJo's outside, and Adventure Family is obviously the play-by-play kitchen scene that I'm talking about. So they escape the kitchen into underground tunnels. So there's a little tunnel thing, and the X-Men Velociraptor that was chasing ScarJo somehow gets into these tunnels as well, and are chasing Adventure Family through the tunnels. So the helicopter for rescue is there. So this is when they get through the tunnel, they can see the helicopter there. Now obviously everyone's panicking because they need to let the helicopters know that they are there. So it almost leaves, but Bill Nye the Science Guy shoots up a flare, but the D-Rex comes, or Drex comes out of nowhere, grabs the helicopter and just throws it and explodes. So that was the end of that escape plan. So Creepy Bad Guy, obviously, like I said, escaped with samples, and he's making a run for it because there is a boat somewhere to escape. Not sure why that wasn't mentioned before. I mean, if they knew about it, why would they be worried about the helicopter? But I suppose the helicopter is a little bit faster, and you don't have to go on the sea again, which I will mention at the end of this. You'll see exactly why. I think maybe they wanted to take the helicopter rather. But Team ScarJo and Adventure Family are in the tunnels and are racing Creepy Bad Guy to the boat. They're being chased by the X-Men Velociraptors, so they get stuck at the gate, the tunnel gate, and little sis can fit through, doesn't ask anyone, and irresponsible dad, didn't look after her again. Gosh, these poor kids. So she goes through to unlock, because there's like a little switch, which is outside the gate for some reason. I'm not sure why. Generally when there's a gate, you'd think you'd put the switch on the inside, so you don't have to have little people running around and opening gates. So that's just food for thought. Not sure why they did that. But yeah, then out of the blue comes Drex again, which is, he's obviously busy trying to catch a snack there. And it looks like he's going to eat little sis, but Creepy Bad Guy, who is also on his way to the boats, accidentally crashes into D-Rex's legs and then gets eaten. Yeah, good. So Creepy Bad Guy has now been munched. So that's one less antagonist to worry about, yes. But little girl obviously opens the gates. Everyone makes a run to the boats, where Drex catches up with them. But they're not going to make it, so Ali lights a flare and distracts Drex into the a little swamp thing, and looks like he's toast. That's it. Cuts to the next scene, so everyone can make a break for it. So they ride the boat away, thinking that Ali is a goner for sure, which has been set up as such. And then you see, so obviously they've going away on this boat, a really fast boat by the way. And then you see a flare go up in the water, and lo and behold, Ali, yay! So he didn't get eaten by Drex. But he's not going to be called Ali anymore. I'm going to be calling him Usain Bolt, because I have no idea how he covered that distance in that dense jungle and got as close as he was to them that quickly. But yeah, okay. So yeah, Usain Bolt is really quick through the jungle. So now that everyone is safe and they've left and and so on. The color changes quite drastically, which I find quite interesting, because it kind of changes to a warmer color and not as dark and scary. So okay, cool, they're safe. So they kind of, and the music, you get the little Jurassic Park music on the piano, which sounds really nice, by the way. I quite like that. So they're leaving the island on the boat, like I said, and Bill Nye the Science Guy asks ScarJo, because if you can remember, in the beginning she got offered a lot of money, and then there was some chitter chatter throughout the movie between ScarJo and Bill Nye the Science Guy about, hey, we're getting a lot of money, but then he was kind of saying, hey, it'd be nice if it wasn't this cure that can help coronary disease through the whole world was given to bad corporate people who will obviously sell it at a stupid amount of money. So their discussion right at the end is to say, you know what, Bill Nye the Science Guy then asked ScarJo, listen, do you think, or let me leave it up to you who we're going to give this to? And she says everyone. So yay, happy ending, so on and so forth, and they ride off into the sunset, and boom, a mosasaur. No, I'm kidding. No, that's just the end. There's no mosasaur, but they were riding on the ocean, which is what I said earlier, which would be a clawback to what I said earlier in my review, is to say, hey, listen, maybe that's why the helicopter was a bad idea. But then, there are F-16 pterosaurs and all sorts of wonderful things that could chase you from there. But, ocean mosasaur. I would honestly take my... Ooh, that's a good one. Where would I take... if I had a choice of a helipad or a boat? So it's either the mosasaur or the pterosaur. I would say I would take my money on the pterosaur. No, actually no. I take, both ways you're not going to make it. Like if they want you, they'll get you. Like that's kind of so lucky there were no mosasaurs. That's kind of what I'm saying. So anyway, that is my review and my thoughts in between about Jurassic World. So best written story again? No. Was it fun to watch? Kinda. Yeah. It was not bad. It was, look, it's not as good as the first one. The first one was amazing. Story was really well put together. Actors were really, the actors are good in this, kinda. But I mean, Jeff Goldblum. So, yeah, but that's my food for thought. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. And also let me know if you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, please show us some love by popping a like there and sharing it to some of your friends. But again, that is it for today's episode of the Everything Podcast, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.